Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. This is the 3 C's with Ginge, the 3 C's being coffee and content creation. It's so nice to be back with you. I have my husband here with me today again.
Hello. It's because I'm a co-host, so I'm supposed to be here. It's not like I'm a guest on your podcast. I mean,
Well, there might be some times when you're not here, so I'm just letting them know that you're here.
that's true.
Yes. Today we are going to be talking about interacting with your community and how to build a community a bit and some of the hurdles and such that I've had to go through, and possibly some of the same ones that you have had to go through as well if you are also building a community at the moment.
Or things to kind of prepare ahead of time to the best of your ability in case this is a new path for you kind of deal. There's a lot of things that obviously we didn't know when we first got into it. And like with most things, you learn a lot on your own, but if we can help curb a lot of those problems or issues that you may arise, good or bad, that's what it's here for. So, I mean, community building could be a 10-part series. I mean, it takes a long time. So we're just kind of quickly cover a lot of stuff that has worked, hasn't worked, things to look out for, but I'm sure down the road we'll do a more in-depth community building, kind of guide to the best of our abilities kind of deal.
I mean, at this moment, we're still learning as it is. Just to give a little kind of background on the community that I have and have built at the moment, I have over 3,000 followers on Twitch. We have over 200 people. I think we're actually creeping up on 300 people in the Discord.
Way to not drop your brand or call them what they are.
My Ginger Snaps.
Nerd.
Ginger Snaps. My Twitter actually just went over 1,000 followers. Woo woo. I'm moving up in the world. And then my Instagram it's slowly building. I'm not the best with Instagram, which is weird because I love photography and such. It's just not for some reason, it's just the social network platform that I just can't seem to kind of get a grasp on. I did well when I had a knitting Instagram for some reason, but now that I've kind of switched over to the content creation side of it, it's just not one that I can truly grasp in that sense. So, yeah.
Just real quick before we move forward, if people look at those numbers and go, oh, what do you know? That's not very big numbers. There's one thing you have to understand about how things in social media are kind of changing. So yes, while those aren't numbers with huge amounts of commas and stuff like that, you have to understand the ratio of those people that actually interact. It's not people that have just clicked liked or follow or anything like that. These are all people that literally interact with Scaredy Ginge all the time.
Yeah.
Sure, a 300-person Discord doesn't seem very big, but it's 300 active people that we talk to on a daily basis. Same thing with Twitter and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So, it's cool to have 1 million followers, but how many people are you even able to interact with 1 million followers? I'd make the argument that having 300 active followers that you can talk to and know on a personal level is more impactful than having 500,000 followers that you barely can keep up with.
I agree with that, definitely. And I guess one thing with my community and our community as a whole, the Ginger Snaps, one thing that I've always wanted was to have more of that personal touch with it, because I'm a very big believer that it's good to have that personal relationship. And that's not saying that I know everything about everybody and, all of that, but the sense that I know who these people are. I still remember the first 5 people that joined my Discord, and I'm incredibly close with them. They are pretty much family, and that's what I want for my community as a whole. Now, I'm not kind of blind to the fact that as I grow and get bigger, that the numbers are going to continue to grow as well, and maybe this might fall off a little bit and I might not be as personal with everybody in the future, but that's not to say that I'm not going to try. But one thing that my husband and I really believe in is that quality over quantity. I would rather have 50 people that interact with me and are in my Discord than 50,000 people that don't, because those 50 people are the people that are going to give me really good feedback. They're going to tell me things that they don't like about the stream or whatever it is that I'm doing, or things that they do like, and I can count on them for that. And it's something that I love about it, So.
Yeah, no, again, just to kind of wrap up that point. So don't worry if you only have 5 followers. It's, 5 followers that are active and give you feedback is very powerful. And that's how it starts. That's how it grows, And that's, I guess, trying to wrap up this point. But that's why the whole, like, follow for follow, share for share, that kind of stuff, it's not a long game. It might quickly get you some numbers, but it doesn't build a community. It doesn't get you real fans and stuff like that. It's almost like synthetic numbers. It doesn't. I don't want to say that it doesn't count, because if it gets you to some checkpoints that you need to, that's one thing. But realistically, it makes more sense to try to organically grow than it does to pump those numbers up like that.
And I think the organic growth is what helps you become successful. Whereas the you get the synthetic growth where either you're paying for it or you're doing the follow for follow or whatever it is. Those people, longevity wise, aren't going to be around. They're not going to be the ones that are in your stream all the time. They're not going to be the ones that are active in your community. If they are, it's usually because they're posting follow for follow stuff and everything. Whereas, again, those 5 followers that you have that you've organically kind of built and such, those are the ones that are going to be there for the long haul. So, like I said, so Instagram for me hasn't been the easiest ride, but Twitter for me, once I kind of understood it, has been a lot of fun. And one thing that I have learned, and I think a lot of people don't get about it, is the fact that you have to be yourself on Twitter. Now, nobody is going to want to follow an account that only posts when they're going live. There's nothing personable about that. There's nothing about you. And some of the biggest streamer people that have Twitters will say the same thing, You got to post up things that are not necessarily personal, but something that gives your personality away, Like if you love cats, post pictures of your cats. People love that, But don't just always make it about streaming, because at the end of the day, again, you're selling yourself, not in, a weird way, but you're selling yourself. People want to know who you are. People want to know why they need to want to subscribe to you and such. And so, giving them a little bit of yourself and the post that you put up, I think is very detrimental in that.
Absolutely. So stuff like that too, using other platforms to help you build your community, but to kind of drive essentially traffic towards yourself or whatever platform that you actually make revenue on, let's say. It's important to kind of be yourself, and you can share different sides of you. So for example, one thing we're learning, you are not very good, not the audience, but Scared of Ginge isn't very good at maintaining series on YouTube. Whatever it might be, it's just not something she's very good at. But making more like IRL type funny videos is something she very much likes doing. So that's a bit of a different target audience that she's kind of tapping into. There's a lot of people, she mainly streams RuneScape. There's a lot of people that have never played, never even heard of it, or maybe don't even like it, that'll still come and watch her because they like her personality, and they found that personality through some of these more IRL videos that she has done, or like on Twitter when you share more behind the scenes and your personality. So you don't always have to just try to target someone that plays a specific game. You don't know the kind of people you're going to bring in. We have people in the Discord and that watch her on Twitch that don't even play video games, that literally subscribe to her, and here they are watching her play a video game because she makes weird, funky faces and stuff. But just because it comes down to personality, and that's what people are really subscribing to or following because of your personality, not always, they're getting entertainment out of that. So it's important to just really be who you are and not just try to create a persona exactly that you maybe can't keep up with.
And I think, my husband and I just had a talk about this a little bit ago and I actually had this conversation with some people in my community as well, where I'm a person, my stream it is what it is. I don't put on a persona. I'm not anybody other than I am in my everyday life. And I'm a huge believer in that, simply because I don't always have to be a certain way, you know? I don't always, you look at somebody like Dr. Disrespect, you know exactly how he's going to be in every single stream. But what you don't see is the days where maybe he's not doing so well or something like that. And I guess, for him, that's worked well, obviously, and everything. But I'm a big believer, not everything is positive. Not every day is going to be great. And I think your community appreciates when you're real with them, when they can kind of see into that. Because at the end of the day, these people are there to support you. I mean, they're following you. Some of them are subscribing to you. Some of them are literally giving you the money that they have to pay bills to help you do stuff, And so for me, I'm just a believer that I should be giving them my real self, That's not to say, again, that I am telling them everything about my life or anything like that. But I mean, just recently I had a pretty major surgery, and the amount of support that I received from my community it's incredible. And, had I been somebody on stream that I'm not, and put on a persona and put on something that I have to keep up with, I think this whole situation would have been a lot different.
People could have interpreted that as you maybe trying to scandal some money out of people or something like that. You see that stuff all the time, people faking illnesses or whatever it might be. But kind of going back to you being you, there's a word for that, and it's a proven formula for success for anything in life. Now, obviously, success is a bit of your own perspective, but authenticity, that's, I know it's a word that gets thrown around a lot, especially these last couple of years. Everyone's, be authentic, but I think we're using it more as a buzzword than we are using what it actually means. But you are in the embodiment of being authentic. You go on stream, and whether it's something you know how to do in the game or not, you're honest about it. You don't try to fake it. If you're having a bad day or you're just not feeling it or whatever it might be, you tell your community. Not to kill a vibe or anything like that, but you just hey guys, I'm not feeling so hot today. Yeah. I'm gonna push stream, or I'm not gonna stream today. Or you start a stream, just let them know, guys, I'm not feeling the greatest today. Maybe I'm gonna stream with no cam. Yeah. Or maybe I'll be a little more quiet today. And your community understands and respects that because you are honest with them. And then the people that don't like that, it's okay, because you've weeded them out so long ago that it doesn't matter. That's the best part about being authentic, is the people that stay are true, loyal fans. Yeah. And the people that go, it's okay. It's not anything personal. It's easier to weed people out nice and early like that, so they're not just kind of taking up your space and energy,
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, being authentic is just super key in anything you do.
And, I think that kind of goes down to, like, your community equaling, like, your brand. So, like, you want your community to kind of be not, I guess you could say, like you. You want them to kind of have the same kind of, I guess you could say, air of just being the same. And, that's one thing that in the beginning was very hard for me, because I was obviously still trying to find what my brand was, who I was, and streaming and such. And so we definitely had some people that came in and kind of disrupted that whole thing. But now that we're kind of getting into knowing these things, I know exactly what I want my community to be like. We are supportive. We don't, break people down. We're not troll. Like, I have some trolls in my community, but it's fun trolling. It's not like we're sitting there, breaking people down and making them feel bad about themselves or anything, But it took a while to get there. And in that kind of interim, we had some people that came in and just kind of, I guess you could say, disrupted the whole thing. The community became less talkative, things kind of died down. And looking back on it now, I know exactly what was wrong about it. But at the time, I got sucked into it and was like, this person is an incredible person. But, Josh brought up something, that really kind of resonated with it and everything. you don't know what people are saying behind the scenes. You don't know what people are talking about in their DMs to each other. And so the Discord died down, but that's probably because people they weren't happy with it, obviously. Things were getting said that they didn't like, things were getting, all of that. And so I think that's another thing that you have to be really kind of just cognitive. You need to be careful with the people that you let into your community, because you do have control over that.
That's a great point. To kind of package up what you were just saying here, it's really what's called your core values. Your personality will really build your community, because like I said, people that like it will stay, people that don't will go. So whatever you personally believe in, whatever personality you put out there for the world to see realistically, is what your community basically becomes. So people that don't align with those core values, or that your air of community that you have, they will end up getting weeded out, but you may go through some turmoil, because anyone can put on a good front for the honeymoon phase of any sort of relationship, to kind of put it like that. For those who don't know what that term means, basically your first interactions with people and stuff like that, everyone's always putting on their best front. So you don't know 100% what people are always going to be like. Now, that's not to say you should, test people or like knock people from coming to your community, because it's not about that. These are the ebbs and flows of things. You're gonna have people that come in that just really build your community, and you're gonna have people that come in that hurt it a bit. But again, those people get weeded out, and you just have to be very mindful and adjust as you can. So that's why it's important to stay within your core values, and and not be a pushover in a lot of ways too. If you have rules within your community, make sure your rules align with your core values, but make sure you and your moderators or whoever they're enforcing that. Like, that's important. Sometimes you have to have some stern talks with people. That sucks. Obviously, a lot of people don't like that, but that is one of the core values of the Ginger Snaps and Scared Ginger's community. It's just, we'll have those hard talks, but communication is always open, and people realize that it's not personal. If someone isn't pulling their weight, or they're not doing something they're supposed to be doing, or they're just out of line, we call them out. But at the same time, at work, if someone's really just kicking butt or doing awesome or whatever, we let them know that too. And that is just really, it's really, really important.
Yeah. Like in our community, we have a community spotlight. Actually, we're going to be picking a new person here in the next couple of days. And that honestly is just to it's just to showcase the one person in the community that everybody thinks is kind of bringing their best and doing amazingly for the community, for themselves, for everything, and nobody can say that they don't like getting praised, because it's nice to be praised. And I think that's one thing that I've had a hard time with. I don't take compliments very well. I don't like being told that I'm doing great, because for me, I can always find the negative and I can always find the bad in what I'm doing. But what I like to do is kind of put that into people that, what you're doing is wonderful. I appreciate you. I thank you. And I think that is a big thing in a community, especially for your subscribers, for people, again, that are literally giving you money from their bank account that they may not even have, to thank them. Because at the end of the day, nobody has to follow you. Nobody has to subscribe to you. But you're obviously giving them a reason to. And so therefore, you should somehow show that,
Yeah. I just want to jump in real quick, because the other side of that too is, what is some of the most important things that your followers or subscribers or anybody can give you? It's not money, and that's why we're focusing. It's time. Yes. They can't get any of that back. You have all these people spending time either watching your stream or supporting your community. How do you realistically repay that? Whether you're just on in the background while someone's doing something else, or it's just legitimate, someone wants to give you your time to help you grow, that's really important, and you really, really, really need to honor and respect that. You really do. Now, I'm not saying you need to be, kiss people's butts and stuff like that. You don't want to go over the top, but again, that's very important. Thank your community. People that want to put time into you, that's a big deal. Yeah,
there are quite a few people in our community that if it wasn't for them, I don't think that I would be as successful as I am today. Those are the people that, you know, when I do a 12 or a 24-hour stream, they're literally there with me the whole entire time, making sure that I'm okay, you know? And, you know, that's not to say that, you know, you should give them everything, but a simple, hey, thank you for helping me and supporting me is, I mean, that can go miles. And I mean, you don't know how their day has been. You don't know how their week has been going. And so like that simple, kind gesture and word could be enough to make them feel like they're on top of the world, especially from somebody that they obviously kind of hold in high regard. So
I mean, recognition is big as humans in general. We love recognition.
Yeah.
And it's tough to go without it, especially if you're really busting your butt for something. I know personally about that all too well. So, yeah. But really, you know, make sure you recognize your people. It is very important. You hit on a key point too. You know, said you didn't do it alone. You know, you look at some of the most, whether it's famous people in streaming or famous people in Hollywood, whatever it might be, they didn't do it alone.
Yep.
It's because at some point in time, somebody looked at them and believed them.
Yep.
You know, Ninja wouldn't be as big as he is now. I mean, yes, he has an amazing skill set, but if along the way, if at tournaments or teams or whatever, looked at him, and very specifically his wife.
Yeah.
But if someone didn't believe in them along the way, so keep that in mind. Again, it doesn't matter if you have 5 or 5 million. You know, that's somebody who believes in you or potentially believes in you. Mm-hmm. You need to respect that relationship.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think there is a point where you also have to put up boundaries. You know, you will, if you are new to this, you know, one thing that you're going to find is there are going to be people that will only give you stuff or give you their time or whatever it may be in return for something else. And you have to
quid pro quo.
You have to be very, very careful with that because you know, it's happened to me a couple times, and I'm not the best at seeing that a lot of times. And again, my community and my husband have been the ones that have pointed it out, but you are not required to do anything, no matter what anybody says, obviously, unless you're like doing it for a sponsorship or something like that, and you've signed a contract or something. If somebody comes to you and says, I'm going to give you this $5, but you have to do this for me, you don't have to. And you have every right to say that you don't want the money or whatever it might be. And I just want to make that very clear to you. You know, you don't want those type of people in your community because at the end of the day, they're using you. And you're going to run into a lot of people that want to use you. And so the better you can kind of get in front of that and make sure that your community isn't built up of those type of people, I think will be very, very good for you. So
again, I think those people get weeded out.
Yeah.
Maybe not fairly quickly, but eventually they will. But again, that goes back to that's why you got to stick to your core values, mm-hmm. your rules of your community, and keep open communication. Especially if you start building a moderator team and stuff like that, you have to talk to them. You know, these are people that are also willing to give you your time, or give them, give you their time. There it is. You know, and it's really important. And they're a lot of times they're not doing it for anything. No. And a lot of these people too are trying to put out content and stuff like that. So it is important to make sure everyone's on a clear page, a clear path, a clear vision. Vision is very important. That's how you get people to really work with you, not just kind of do their own thing. Everyone needs a vision of the future. So
if you're not all on the same page, then how can you guys really work together to do whatever it is that you are envisioning? So I definitely agree with that for sure. At the end of the day, your community is your family when it comes to streaming and such, because again, they're the ones that are giving you their time. They're the ones that are giving you their money. They're the ones that are giving you video games. They're the ones that are helping you grow your software, your hardware, and they're helping you grow too. And so I think at the, kind of end of it all comes down to they support you, you support them. but you have to make sure that that community is how you want it. That community is yours. Nobody can tell you how to grow it. Nobody can tell you what to do or how to do it. It all comes down to you. But what you can do is take advice from people that have built successful communities and communities that they find to be helpful in the growth of their streaming career or content creation career.
I think a lot of it comes down to if we could wrap it all up in basically a couple cliff notes. Core values, authenticity, and people will naturally come to you because, again, if you're just always being yourself and you have a set of rules and values that you just kind of stick to, the people that want to stay will stay and help you build, and people that don't align will go.
Yep.
That's I understand making it sound simple. It takes work. Don't get me wrong. You also need to consistently show up and do all that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong. But the fundamental building blocks of that, it's be you, and then you can surround people around you that want to be with you, part of your community and stuff like that.
Yep. So I guess that will do it for this episode. It has been a wonderful one, and I hope that you've taken away something from this. Let us know your thoughts down below. Maybe if there's some information or advice that you'd like to give on community building, we'd love to hear it. Maybe it's something I haven't even thought of or somebody else might need to hear. But this has been the 3 C's with Ginge, content creation and coffee. No, coffee and content creation. I don't even know the name of my own podcast. It's okay. We're only like 2 episodes in. I have some time. But thank you again, guys. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.